Hey y'all, welcome to Velomedia. I'm Noah, and today I'm here to talk about how James Blake was smack dab right on the money with his tweets from last year, which have been on my mind since he made them. See, the way we consume art has always been a fascination of mine, especially as streaming services have taken the forefront of things, especially on the music front. I won't belabor the point. In my opinion, streaming services are not good for artists, and I don't think they're very good for music listeners either. And this is exactly what James Blake's March 2024 tweets highlighted, how the progression of our consumption affects artists, the art they create, and of course the consumers of that art. So let's get started. James Blake wrote, "The brainwashing worked, and now people think music is free. If we want quality music, someone is going to have to pay for it. Streaming services don't pay properly. Labels want a bigger cut than ever and just sit and wait for you to go viral. TikTok doesn't pay properly. And touring is getting prohibitively expensive for most artists." And he's 100% correct. But okay, what's the solution? Do I have the silver bullet solution? Well, no, of course I don't. This is a YouTube video. But neither does Wu-Tang or any of the other people that have owned their fabled project Once Upon a Time in Shaolin. This album, if you don't know, has officially one copy and has changed hands from the rap group to currently incarcerated professional Goblin to the U.S. Department of Justice to now Pleaser DAO, an NFT group. Great. So fast forward to 2024, and Pleaser DAO have announced that the album is to be released as an NFT with every purchase accelerating the release date by 88 seconds. Now, I'm not even going to go into what Wu's original point is in selling this album for $2 million. Because here's the thing, whether it's selling it for millions or thousands or releasing it as an NFT that requires an insane amount of money to get it to release in anyone's lifetimes, the fact of the matter is a tiny number of artists can do this. Your up-and-coming band, singer-songwriter, or MC does not have the audience or resources to go with this model. They can't hold their music hostage like that. Wu-Tang is Wu-Tang. They can do whatever the hell they want. But here's the thing, hot take incoming. Neither Shrek or Pleaser DAO really give two craps about music. This model leaves accessibility completely out of the picture. It totally focuses on the cost of the music, but music has value not only because it can be sold, but because it can be listened to. This new Wu album has been a Fabergé egg for nearly a decade now. So why'd I bring that up? Well, it's clear we can't sell albums for thousands or millions of dollars and expect anyone to buy them, or for the vast majority of artists to be able to sustain themselves that way. But it's also clear that our current model, what I refer to as the content model, isn't going to work. All that Spotify CEO Daniel Ek had for us a few years back was to crack the whip and tell artists to just make more. Here's what he said in Stereo Gum in 2020.
"The artists today that are making it realize that it's about creating a continuous engagement with their fans."
Yeah, this is where James Blake's tweet comes right back in. When X says continuous engagement with their fans, what he really means is continuous engagement with my platform. The more time you spend on his platform, the more money he makes, while he gives a fraction of a penny to artists per stream of their music. What we've got here is something that I think we should always be wary of, though, and that's a renter's economy, aka subscription-based economy. Here's a couple videos I'm going to throw on the screen. I check them out. They talk about this more broadly in the overall media space. So let's talk about it. With music and social media, all we're really doing as artists is making content for engagement, which is distinct from the model of yesterday in a few ways. To put it in the simplest of terms, previously we had record companies distributing albums, and they take whatever cut from the earnings while the artist took whatever was in their deal to receive. Obviously, there are flaws in this model and how it's been done. Obviously. But the flow of art and compensation, labor and pay, was more direct. You give money, you get product, an album. But in the streaming era, we're paying money to a platform that features all these artists. Then they give fractions of a penny to these artists per stream of their music on their platform. You give money to rent a platform supplies music, platform pays artists. This means artists are competing within the realm of these platforms, not as themselves in the wider economy for a more direct check. And this means that certain things are incentivized and other things are disincentivized, because platforms are focused on clicks, attention, and content production. Algorithms drive them, and so that's what drives the modern artist. The past year has seen a lot of talk of fake artists on Spotify. Many articles have been written on it, and there's a book that I should be in the middle of reading by the time this video's come out that touches on the topic. Meta started pushing AI accounts on Facebook and Instagram to help drive engagement, something no one asked for, and I don't even think that went very well, but I suspect they'll still try to push that. But back to music. The brainwashing worked, and now people think music is free. If we want quality music, someone's gonna have to pay for it. Well, who's paying for music in the streaming model? No one is. We're paying for access to a platform that seeks our engagement. And don't get it twisted. They don't care if it's music or podcasts or vitamin supplements. A click is a click. But we are not paying for the music. And the artists aren't getting paid for their art. They're getting paid for the engagement they bring to these platforms. So the goal of the modern artist is to drive engagement for billionaires, whether it's Eck or Musk. Art is just the vehicle for that engagement, but it's no longer the product. This past summer, I discovered one of my new favorite bands. They're a group called The Sleepwalk. If you like very sonically dense, noisy, shoegazy stuff, I 100% recommend checking them out. But here's the thing. While some of the music can be found on YouTube, listening to their music isn't the easiest task. The music is not on Spotify, it's not on Tidal, it's not on Apple Music, it's not on YouTube Music, it's not on Deezer, it's not on iHeartRadio. But all the music is available to purchase from their website. But it's a process. See, the website is like pure HTML, and you have to go through the order form and send that via email and then make your payment. I mean, man, it's about as independent as you can get. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Why would you go through this much trouble? Why even bother? Is the music that good? Yes. To me, it is. And that's what I want to discuss in this portion of the video. While the first part was largely a discussion on the prevailing model we're under in this internet social media age, this is the part where I point directly at you, the viewer, the consumer, the listener. So, bear with me. Like I said, James Blake was right. We've been manipulated into thinking music is free, and more broadly, that convenience is God. We've been told our whole lives that convenience is key to innovation. And look, I'm not here to sound like an old head yelling at the clouds telling people that things were better when you had no choice but to wait days or weeks to have a letter sent, or when your music collection had to be a heavy freaking crate of vinyl. But what I am saying is that convenience is not an inherent good, and we should always stop and really think as free-thinking individuals about what level of convenience we're comfortable with and what level of convenience is actually sustainable for the consumer, but especially the artist, the laborer. We need to think more about how we move and how our own habits are interacting and shaping the world. We need to think about what it means to go all in on convenience. According to the website Verp, I'm just going to pronounce it like that, in 2023, these are the numbers for music streaming payouts per platform. Per a single stream of their music, they make this much on these platforms. Now, let's break out the calculator a little bit. You don't have to. I'll do it for you. Don't worry. Let's say the cost of a CD is $12. How many streams would you need for your favorite artist to get that $12? Well, let's look at Tidal. According to these numbers, they've broken past a penny per stream. So, okay, that's $12 divided by 0.0128. So that's 937.5 streams. So, okay, let's say an album is 10 songs. You would have to listen to this album about 94 times for your favorite artist to get $12 indirectly from the platform Tidal. Okay, but what about Spotify, the big dog, the big fish, with 626 million monthly active users? Okay, so let's do it. $12 divided by 0.00318. That is almost a third of a penny. Almost a third of a penny. So that's 3,773.6 streams. Okay, so you would have to listen to a 10-song album 377 times for your favorite artist to make that $12. However, the Verb article is quick to add, It's important to remember that these are gross figures. In most cases, the net amount that reaches the artist can be considerably lower, as it's typically subject to deductions such as record label shares, distribution fees, and taxes. So if we're going by these numbers, that's the maximum possible dollar amount and the minimum possible number of streams to reach it. These numbers are closer to what maybe a purely independent artist might be making, but if you're on a label, I know that platforms like Spotify give you access to so much music right at your fingertips instantly. I understand why that's enticing. I'm online too. I understand how platforms can suck your time and energy because it works on me too. I'm not immune. But I think if you don't take anything else from this video, I want you to take away the fact that Spotify does not care about artists and it does not care about the consumers of that art. It does not care. They want your engagement, point blank, period. Me, personally, I try to support the artists I listen to because if the fans aren't supporting them, no one else will. No one. There's a severe lack of support for artists in a country like the US. But in other countries, like the Nordic countries, for instance, they're known for allocating a portion of their budgets to support cultural institutions and artists. But with an absence of that, artists in many countries are praying to the algorithm gods each morning. I'll say it, a lot of people are fans, but because of the way the industry and these platforms are set up, a lot of us aren't supporters of our favorite artists, and that's a problem. A supporter and a fan used to be the same thing because of the way we interacted with art, the way we consumed it. But they aren't the same thing anymore. And you have to decide if you're going to just be a fan or be a supporter of your favorite art. Corporations and platforms give us an illusion of what they offer us, but they've really got us in a trap that's unsustainable for both listeners of music that care about it and for artists that desperately want to create art that's meaningful to them and pay their water bill. When an artist you claim you love opens up about just how little money they're making off their music, about just how hard it is to sustain themselves on their art, you should be frustrated. You should be angry, because a world where someone's music can touch you so deeply while the people that made it are hardly seeing the fruits of their labor is a world that I don't want to keep feeding into. And you shouldn't want that world either. This doesn't mean you're a bad person if you use Spotify. It just means that we as consumers, as art enjoyers, as fans, have to consider our own role in this thing we call fandom. And artists, as always, will have to continue to innovate and find new ways to promote and push their art. That's all I got for y'all today, but I will be surely revisiting this topic in the future. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Velomedia. I'm Noah. Y'all stay safe out there.